Hey guys, we're going to do an editing tutorial here on how I turned this picture, a series of before and after, into this. So we'll go ahead and show you a step-by-step process. So go ahead and click reset, set the picture back to originally how it was when I first took it out in this train yard. So first thing, I took it at ISO 100. It was with my 50mm at 1.8, and it was a 320 shutter speed. So first I'm going to close out of the histogram, and I'm going to mess with the temperature first to kind of give it a warmer feeling. I have all my settings written down, so I'll just talk to you about how I did them. Temperature I did was 6,555, and now you can already see it's kind of getting warmer. Here's your before and after. It kind of looked a little blue. And we'll turn the tint up quite a bit, just to about 14. And that gives it a little bit of the purple tint, since the car is purple. And then as we mess with the other settings, you'll see how that kind of blends in together. So with the exposure, we'll bring it up just a little bit, or I'm sorry, we're going to bring it down a little bit to negative 1.2. Since we brought that down, the contrast, we're not going to touch right now. And the highlights, we're going to want to bring those down to negative 38, because it's going to get really bright up in the sky. So when we bring those down, that'll help the sky show. And since this bottom half is really dark, we're going to take the shadows and bring them up. So now that kind of contrasts everything really well together. As you can see now, the barrel on the train is much more visible and it's not washed out by the sun, as well as everything over here by the trees. Alright, so now we're going to go down to the whites and bring those up a little bit to about 36. And we'll take the blacks and bring them down to about negative 18. I'll keep showing you guys a before and after so you can see what we've done with each step. And now we've already kind of created a warmer feeling for the picture, so it looks more of a sunset and it looks a lot cleaner. Clarity, we will bring up a little bit to 11. And vibrance and saturation, I'm not going to touch currently for this picture. So we'll go down to the tone curve. Now the upper part of the tone curve is for the whites, and the darker colors are going to be down here at the bottom. So as you see, as we mess with the top part, it brings up the whites, and the bottom part will mess with the darker colors and the blacks. So we're going to put a couple points on the tone curve, one at 79.2 and 83.1, 79.2, close enough. Next one, 52.58, so that'll be around the middle area, 52.58. And the bottom one, 24 and 24. And then right here, this very bottom one, we'll add a fade to your picture. As you can see, it kind of fades it a little bit. So we're going to bring it up just to about 6 to fade in the blacks on the bottom part of the superleggera. So now with the tone curves and everything, you can see the picture before and after so far. So we're going to come down to the hue, saturation, luminance. What the hue is going to do is if you take the color of one of these and slide it, it'll change the color completely. So for example, the purple, if you change the purple, it changes the color completely. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this to correct a little bit of color, since the lens doesn't always pick up everything perfectly. So we'll take the red and we'll bring it up to 11. We'll take the orange and bring it down to negative 3. Yellow, we're not going to touch. Blue, we'll put it at negative 2. And you can see the car looked a little purple, but it still looked a little blue. So we're going to take the purple and put it up to 32. Now it looks really purple, which is how it looks in real life, not blue. And the magenta we'll put at 13. And now the car looks how it looks like in person. Saturation we'll go to and change a couple of these. This just brings up the color. So purple, you can see it brings up or down the purple. Or the blue, you can turn down blues. So for red, we're going to bring that up to 30. Orange will do 14. Yellow will take down a little bit to negative 11. And how I figured out all these is really just clicking on the slider and sliding back and forth and figure out which one looks best. That's how you can really do this. But you need to realize that all of these slides and everything, they work together. So if you change one thing, you're going to have to look through all of them to make sure they all flow together correctly. Green will be 37. And blue will be negative 37. And purple will take down just by 1. And now you can see how the car looks a lot more purple and everything is coming together really nicely in this picture. Now the luminance, what it will do is for purple, it changes basically the exposure of the color. So we'll take the orange up just a hair, plus 3. Yellow plus 6. And blue plus 17. Now the car's gotten a little bit brighter, as you can see, so it looks more relevant in the picture and it's kind of popping there. So next we're going to do the split toning. So what this will do is we'll put a kind of a tint over your picture. So we'll do, if your picture kind of looks like it's got an off color to it, this will kind of correct that as well. We'll do 26, and then I'll show you as I take the saturation of this, you can see it kind of adds that color, like a tint over the whole entire picture. So we're just going to bring this up to 7, and as you can kind of see there, it makes a little bit of a difference. I'll bring it back down to 0, so that's 0, and then 7. It just adds a little bit of a filter on there. Sharpness, we'll bring it up to about 70. Details, bring it down to 20. Noise reduction, I shot at ISO 100, so we don't really need much noise reduction. I'll just put it at 10 just for a little bit. Get a little bit of the grain out of there, even though there isn't much. And then I'm going to remove whatever that is and enable the profile corrections. Typically when you do this, it's going to have the vignetting at 100. I always bring that back down to 0 to keep the outsides dark, and then distortion at 100. Now with this, I'll dehaze it a little bit to kind of bring in the color. And now where it gets a little complicated is the adjustment brush. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select certain things in the picture to edit. And so it's not editing the entire picture as a whole, but just specific things. So for example, I'll do the windshield. If you come over here on the left side of the screen, you can click and zoom in. And I'm going to, so I take my exposure, I'll bring it all the way down. This way I can just see what I'm coloring in. I'm going to just color in the windshield very carefully. You can do this in Photoshop as well, an easier way, but it works just as well in Lightroom. If you go on the outsides a little bit, that's okay. You can go back and erase it, which is what we're going to do. Alright, so you can scroll down and click erase, and erase the outside parts that you got. Okay, so now I can double click on exposure to bring it back down to 0. So that's with nothing done. So I'm going to take the exposure down to negative 0.95, and I will dehaze the windshield to 21, and bring the saturation down to negative 43. So now it makes it more black instead of blue. Here's our before and after so far. Next one I want to do is the wheels. So you can see the wheels look really tan almost, but they're black. So once this focuses, there we go. Take the adjustment brush, we'll do a new one, and we'll just color in the wheel. We can get the back wheel as well if we want. Go ahead and select this back wheel as well. And then, once we have it all selected, we'll click fill or fit to zoom out. Double click on exposure to bring it back to the beginning. Wait for the picture to focus, there we go. And turn down saturation. Now the wheels are back to being black. The other thing as well, there's two other really important things. This headlight, they both look kind of off. So we'll zoom in and we'll color in this headlight, remember, all the way down on the exposure so you can see what you're filling in. And just color it in. It's going to take a second. There we go. And then back to fit. Double click on exposure. And I'm going to bring that down just a little bit. There we go. And now they look pretty even together. Here's a before and after real quick. Our last thing is one of the most important parts, is we're going to color in the entire ground. And I'll show you why in a moment. But let's go ahead and do this first. This is the second to last thing, actually. Okay, so we got a little bit on the car, but that's okay. We can quickly erase down here and just get rid of that part that's on the car. There we go. Alright, now what we're going to do with the ground is bring the clarity up to 11, dehaze it to 13, and bring the saturation down to -90. Now that ground looks really clear and dark gravel. We'll turn exposure down quite a bit as well. And now you can see how this picture is coming together. Last but not least is going to be a graduated filter. Coming in from the top left, since the shadows are on the other side of the car. And we will take exposure for that one and put it up to about 0.82 and bring the temperature up as well. Bring in some warm sunlight. We're done. And there we have our final picture, from before to after. If you guys want to see how to remove pictures and things remove objects from pictures, check out the video in the top right hand corner about how to easily remove things in Photoshop. But that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching.